Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day. Today, I'm going to be talking about something called Author Quickstart. This is essentially kind of like consulting hour that you can get with Peter or myself, Leanpub's co-founders, to talk about what you're up to with your self-publishing plans. Ask us any questions you can think of, and get some help, maybe getting onboarded and stuff onto Leanpub. Um, One thing, let me just add the sort of blog post to the stage and do some housekeeping. So, as usual with these live streams, they all have an accompanying blog post on leanpub.com/blog. They're all being recorded. So if you jump in late or if you miss it, you can watch the whole recording later on a playlist on our YouTube channel at Leanpub. And in these tips of the day, basically it's me talking a little bit about some Leanpub feature or some aspect of writing and self-publishing and book marketing and things like that, just so that every day you can get a little bit of advice if you enjoy hearing about that, say on your lunch hour or something like that, or later in the evening if you're in Europe, if you're watching it live. And of course, since as I said, they're recorded, they're going to be there forever as sort of some helpful resource, so basically a kind of live help center, you can think of it, basically. So yeah. So to move on to the subject of today's live stream, it's our Author Quick Start service. One of the way I wrote this post is basically saying that, like, this is true of many endeavors in life, that one of the biggest mistakes we make when we start new things is that we take it that we need to reinvent the wheel. Um, I sort of reflect a little bit on why that is. In particular, if you're sort of drawn to writing a book and self-publishing it, you're probably a kind of self-starting type of person. You're probably the kind of person who likes challenges. And so you treat all things like challenges, and sometimes we make them for ourselves where we don't need to. I also think back to, the sort of lesson here I learned way back in my investment banking days, when I learned that the kind of best consultant you can get is typically not someone who is kind of a general consultant. If you're looking into a certain area, what you want is someone who works in that area. Their time can be incredibly valuable to you if you're trying to learn about some new industry or practice or something like that. Just talking to someone who's good at it and does it all the time and has been doing it for years is actually the best way that you can get to know something new. Another kind of funny, kind of colorful anecdote, I guess, is that Peter and I both we posted about this, and we did one or two live streams about it. But recently, there was a phishing effort against Leanpub authors. It was not clear in the end what the goal was, probably to extract money or security details or something like that eventually. But basically, what the form the phishing attack took was someone was impersonating Peter, getting in touch with authors and seeing if they had any questions or wanted any advice. And it turned out they did. No one, by the way, got kind of caught in the sense that they gave up any information or money or anything like that. They actually, when things started to look kind of funny, they just contacted us, which is, by the way, what you should do if this happens to you. And by the way, yeah, when you hear from us, it will always be from, Len at leanpub.com, not there, or Peter at leanpub.com, no Gmail or anything like that. But anyway, one thing we sort of learned was that there was an appetite out there and in authors for advice from us. And if there's one thing that Peter and I love doing, it's talking. And if there's one thing that we love doing in particular, it's talking to authors. And so we realized that there was an appetite out there for advice, and it totally makes sense. Who knows Leanpub better than us? Well, you might say some of our best-selling authors do, maybe, but we know it very well. And a lot of the times discussions with us can actually turn into features, whether it's what you think you want or what we realize you really need. That can actually be an outcome of these things too. So the way Author Quick Start works is you go to the Author Quick Start page on Leanpub, which I'll just share the tab, is right here. It's just leanpub.com/author quickstart. You can also get there from what I call the escape hatch, the big menu thing at the top right of any Leanpub page, where you can go to the Author Quick Start page here. There you can read the details of what the offer is. And it's a one-on-one onboarding session with Peter or me. Currently, it's all Peter doing these. The cost is now the interesting thing is, like, how do we price this, right? And we decided to do something interesting with that. So it's $249 for this 1 hour onboarding session where we help you get set up, we give you advice, things like that. You can ask us questions, but you also get a $349 service credit. So basically, that means that you pay us $249, but you can use you get you both get the onboarding session, the Author Quick Start onboarding session, and you get a credit towards $349 of Leanpub author services, which include things like our Translate AI, our Course AI, and not coincidentally, the cost of a lifetime standard membership is $349. So if you were thinking of getting a lifetime standard membership for $349, I've got some great news for you. You can get one for $249 plus a one-on-one onboarding session with Peter, and potentially me one day. So so it's a very good deal. If you're wondering why we would take the time to do this, in addition to like getting to know your customer, which is one of the most important kind of principles of startup type companies, it really will probably help you in your book writing project, in your publishing journey as an author, as a self-published author, and it will probably help you earn more money in the end. And that includes kind of switching projects. So, for example, if you talk to one of us for an hour about what you were planning to do, you might realize that actually you should be doing something else, potentially entirely, and that would be a way of saving you money. Another thing that can come from this is that you can get the concierge import service. So this is in a sense a kind of hidden thing, but if you do one of these author quick starts with us, you don't even need to have you don't need to be a published Leanpub author or anything like that. You can just be someone who's, say, written a book in Word and you'd like to get into self-publishing, and you think you'd like to get self-published on Leanpub. We can do a concierge import service for you where we do all the heavy lifting, kind of importing your book manuscript and getting it sort of on Leanpub in plain text in Markua, which is our markdown for books. If that all sounds really technical, this might be the idea for you, because there is some learning that is involved and some technicality and things like that. But if you do this Author Quick Start, potentially you can get the concierge import service where we import your book manuscript for you and get it all kind of set up in a really nice Leanpub way. Once that's done, of course, then you can use our features like Translate AI and Course AI and publish on Amazon and things like that. So if you're thinking of getting a lifetime standard membership, or if you're thinking about, I'm going to be investing a lot of time and potentially, depending on how you choose to do your book marketing and things like that, or, getting book covers, editors, etc., you might be actually spending a fair amount of money. I mean, most self-published authors do have a budget for their book project. It's important that you have one, I think, for a number of reasons. In fact, I should do a tip of the day about that. One of the reasons is to sort of like check yourself to see how serious you really are about this sort of very big, potentially very kind of long-term project. Are you willing to invest some of your money in your project to write a book and publish it and sort of grow an audience and things like that? And if you're not, maybe there's something else you should potentially be thinking of doing for your next project in your life. But yeah, so there's the Author Quick Start service. One thing I should also mention, actually, let me just sort of share a different tab. We've also got something called the Launch Quick Start, which is for $129, you get a $179 credit and a focused 30-minute session with Peter or with me. This is again, obviously, like, lower price, less time. But this is actually kind of like, like I've got $130. I'm thinking of launching my book pretty soon. Can I get any advice from Peter or Len about how I should do it? What should I do? Things like that. We'll have a lot of opinions. Peter jokes in the copy for the Author Quick Start thing about that he wrote. So we've got both the Launch Quick Start and the Author Quick Start. They're both incredibly valuable. I would say, tooting our own horns, we really do know what we're talking about when it comes to our own platform, and when it comes to self-publishing. We've just dealt with thousands of people and thousands of projects over the years. So if you want to, and another thing I would venture to say too is that these getting advice from someone who really knows something that you're venturing into the first time can save you a lot of time, and in addition to that, a lot of frustration um, as you go about doing things. So if you're getting started as a Leanpub author, if you're just getting started in the self publishing area and you've got questions and you've got a little bit of a budget, I highly recommend getting one of these services as close to the beginning of your journey as you can. That being said, though, some of the first people who've taken us up on this were actually quite experienced Leanpub authors. Another reason to do this is, let's say you've hit a wall. You're not growing your readership. Maybe you've kind of started 5 different book projects and you haven't finished any of them, and you're looking for what Peter in this uh, page calls a kick in the pants. That was some of our first authors who took us up on this. Were looking for that. They were like, I just, I kind of like, I feel like I'm lost. I don't know what to do next. Maybe I've published a complete book and I'm not getting the readers that I was hoping for. What should I do next? In particular, we can give some marketing advice and things like that, and book promotion advice to you if you feel stuck. If you've published one book and you've done okay and you're thinking of doing another one, so even if you're an experienced kind of self-published author, this can actually be really valuable for you as well. And again, the price for Author Quickstart is $249, but you do get a $349 Leanpub dollar service credit. So it's kind of a really good value to you, and we also believe it will be valuable to us. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching this live stream today. If you watched it live, and thank you for watching it in the future if you're watching a recording of it. As I said at the beginning of the recording, all of these tips have a corresponding blog post on leanpub.com/blog. If you don't see it, the article, when you go there, you can click the little magnifying glass and you can search for the relevant terms. In this case, it would be Author Quickstart, where you can go and learn about this service in more detail on our website. If you see this somewhere on social media, please like and subscribe. In particular, if you see it on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every subscriber, it's good for you because you'll get easier for you to follow these new tips and things like that. But also on our Leanpub YouTube channel, we publish book launch videos, little new release videos that I quite enjoy recording and publishing, and then of course our full length Leanpub podcast interviews with authors, which is a great general purpose podcast where you get to learn about someone's background and career, what they've written their book about, and that can be anything. And then, a little bit about their writing process if they're an author. So there's a lot of really great content on our YouTube channel, and we really recommend and hope that you'll subscribe to it one day. Thanks.